Hi. Hello, and welcome to another edition of the weekly Astro Forecast here in the Astro Room on YouTube. I am your host and your favorite astrologer, Mel. See, even my little things aren't working right now. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, I'm Mel, your new favorite astrologer. And I'm the founder of Divine Feminine Works, where I help people unlock their divinity and discover their magic. So if you are new to the channel, welcome. And as always, if you are returning, welcome back. So this channel is everything tarot, astrology, spirituality, and manifestation. So if those are the things you like, if those are the things you love, if those are the things you want to learn more about, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell. So you'll always be notified when I come out with new content. All right, my love. So this is the weekly Astro forecast for the week of May 15th. Through May 21st, 2023. I'm not going to really get into housekeeping or anything like that because there's a lot going on this week. This week is jam-packed with energy shifts. We've got 3 planets changing signs. We've got a new moon in Taurus, and we've got a lot of intensity because we've got Pluto stepping up to the plate this week. So there's a lot to discuss. But as always, first of all, let's just let the people over on Twitter know that we are live so they can come and join us. You know the deal. If you want to get your weekly horoscope, the information for that will be in the description box below. Real quick, if you would like to cop my astrology basics cheat sheet, it's basically the quick and dirty on everything you need to know to start studying astrology. That free download, the link to that free download will be in the description box below. All right, so don't forget to check that out. All right, my friends. So, like I said before, there's a lot going on this week. We are at the end of Taurus season. We are at the end of Mercury retrograde in Taurus. We are embarking on Gemini season. We have a new moon in Taurus this week. We are finally out of this eclipse season. And let me tell you, it's been a lot of enlightenment, a lot of awareness. Much work can be done and probably was done on your part in these last couple of weeks. A lot of aha moments, a lot of light bulbs turning on. It's been an experience. However, we're moving into a new season and moving to quite a few energy shifts. All right. Like I said, we've got 3 planets changing signs this week. So it's going to be interesting. We've got Jupiter changing signs. Now, Jupiter stays in a sign for at least 6 months. So Jupiter has been in Aries for quite some time, and Jupiter will be making its way into Taurus this week. So we're going to be feeling that energy of growth and expansion in a whole new way for the next 6 months. All right. We've also got Pluto making a couple of aspects, which is going to bring some intensity to this week. So one of the things that I highly recommend, especially if you're a regular here, especially if you love to tune into these lives, I would definitely have your natal chart handy, all right? Because I feel like it makes a lot of sense to really understand what I'm talking about and to really make the most of these forecasts on a weekly basis. If you know how it relates to you specifically, I think it'll be even more enlightening, more eye-opening in terms of the information that I am disseminating, okay? And that leads me to let you know that at this time, I am open for bookings when it comes to natal chart reports, progressed natal chart reports, and for personal forecasts. I cannot stress the importance of all 3 of these. Now, all 3 of these work in a variety of different ways. The natal chart is your blueprint. Like, that's the first step. Even if you've looked over your natal chart, or even if you have some sort of a semblance of an idea of what your natal chart entails, I really highly suggest booking a session because this is really going to go really in depth in terms of who you are, what you are here to do, how your life is sort of mapped out, like who you are designed to be. All right. So the natal chart is the first step in any sort of journey, in my opinion. Now, later on down the line, we can look at your progressed natal chart. And this is basically the evolution of your natal chart. It shows sort of where you are right now. Whether you know this or not, whatever sun sign you start out as progresses over time. For instance, I am a Virgo sun. However, currently my progressed sun is in Scorpio. So I'm more of a Scorpio now than I am a Virgo. And there's a lot of different evolutionary changes that are captured in the progressed natal chart. And so having a session on that is really great because it shows your evolution. It shows your process. It also shows where you are headed in the near future. However, I think the most important thing right now, and as a matter of fact, this message came very strongly to me the other day. The transits as they relate to your natal chart are so important because understanding what is going on right now with you specifically is hella important, right? I am going through a major life change right now. And honestly, had it not been for astrology, I would have no idea what's going on. This has given me the insight, the fortitude, and the motivation, most importantly, to move forward fearlessly. And I know all of this information because I'm able to study the transits as they relate to my natal chart. And so if you haven't booked a service with me at all, I would say start off with the natal chart report and consultation. However, if we've done that already, or if you have a pretty firm grasp of your natal chart, I would definitely highly suggest booking a personal forecast. You can get a personal forecast for the month, for the quarter, for 6 months, or for a year. But either way, this is going to let you know exactly what's going to be happening with you specifically. All right. So if you want the links to any of those services, those are going to be in the description box below. I put in that information because of what is going on this week and how things are shifting. And, you know, the forecast that I give, it's more of a general forecast. It's what's going on in the sky right now. But it's very important to know how that's going to affect you specifically, right? So again, if you're looking to book those services, those links are in the description box below. All right. So yeah, we've got a lot in store. So let's talk about what we've got going on and what it's going to be looking like for this week. Okay, so let's start off with the highlights. So first, we've got worth and value, and this is Jupiter going into Taurus and the new moon in Taurus. So take a look at where Taurus is in your natal chart. This is where there's going to be an emphasis. There's already been an emphasis on Taurus because the North Node is currently in Taurus. Plus, we've been experiencing eclipses in Taurus since the end of 2021. Uranus is currently in Taurus. So whatever's going on, whatever house Taurus is for you, there's been a lot of shakeups. There's been a lot of unexpected things and changes, right? And now we have Jupiter moving into Taurus for the next 6 months. So again, take a look at where Taurus is because that's where everything is going down right now. All right. So there's a focus on work, worth, and value. This is about building foundations, and it's about new ways of making money and being materially abundant. Jupiter going into Taurus is like, if you are willing to put in the work, the abundance will follow. All right, super important transit. Then we have what I like to call things getting intense, and this is the Pluto transit for this week. So on the one hand, we're going to have this feeling and this desire to succeed, to win, and to find out the truth, to get to the bottom of things, to really understand things at a very sort of subconscious level. It's also going to mean aggression and perhaps a little bit of violence, okay? Now, hopefully this doesn't play out for you in your personal life. However, I do feel like we're going to hear stories of excessive violence or people kind of getting to the breaking point and doing some crazy things, okay? And people's aggressions are going to be coming up to the surface, so that's definitely something to be mindful of this week. But most importantly, the one thing I always want you to remember about Pluto is that it is about power. And this week, it's going to be all about finding your personal power and becoming empowered. So I say this to say that whatever transpires this week is really for your good. It is really to empower you to move forward and to transform your life. Okay. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what's going on. I don't care who said what, who did what. It's all about personal empowerment this week. Okay. Then we have what I like to call busy as a bee. And this is going to be the sun moving into Gemini and officially beginning Gemini season. Now, you know Gemini energy is real mixy, but it's very social, it's communicative, it's like a buzzing bee, okay? So things are about to ramp up, especially wherever Gemini is in your chart, all right? So again, lots going on. Let's take a look at the week granularly and see what we've got. All right, so today we've got Mars trine Neptune and the moon moving into Aries. Then tomorrow we've got Jupiter moving into Taurus. Then on Wednesday, we've got Jupiter square to Pluto and the moon moving into Taurus. Then on Thursday, we've got the sun sextile Neptune. Friday is kind of the gold star day of the week because we've got the new moon in Taurus, Mercury sextile Saturn, and the moon moving into Gemini. Then on Saturday, we've got Mars moving into Leo, and we've got Mars opposing Pluto. Then on Sunday, we close out the week with the sun moving into Gemini, officially beginning Gemini season. We've got the sun trine Pluto, and we've got the moon moving into Cancer. All right. So like I said, as you can see, this week is chock full of astrological energy. All right. So let's get into it. All right, my love. So today is Monday, the 15th. We start off with Mars trine Neptune. Mars is currently at the 27th degree of Cancer, and it will be trine to Neptune at 27 degrees Pisces. And then we have the moon moving into Aries. All right. And you'll see Mars is going to be at the bottom right-hand portion of the chart, and you'll see Neptune and the moon at the left-hand portion of the chart. All right. So let's get into it. So Mars trine Neptune. I love trine energy because trine energy, it's a favorable aspect and it's really about harmony. It's about things coming together effortlessly. It's about being able to go with the flow and trusting that everything is going to work out all right, okay? And this is kind of an interesting place for Mars to be, or an interesting aspect for Mars to be in, because Mars is all about directing your will in a particular way. So Mars energy is a lot about our willpower. It's about our personal energy. It's about our determination, right? And Mars is laser-like focused on what it wants. And Mars is very action-oriented. It loves to start things. But when Mars is in a trine, especially with Mars being in Cancer, it's not even so much about being determined about one thing and really going for it, okay? This trine can establish a lot, but maybe not in the way that you think it can. Like I said, Mars is all about directing your willpower with like laser-like focus at something. However, with Mars in Cancer, this is really about our emotions. It's really about our inner world. And the fact that Mars is trine Neptune, which is in Pisces, this really makes this about our inner world. So it's not necessarily about any external action that we need to take. This is about getting our inner world in order, and then things will flow effortlessly in a very positive sort of way. There's this element of spirituality to this. Neptune in Pisces has a lot to do with spirituality. It has a lot to do with faith. It has a lot to do with faith in a higher power and the awareness and the recognition of a higher power. And this is about, like I said, this is about getting your inner world in order. Now, what I love about this transit is that Mars is like, what is it that you desire? That willpower, what do you want it to be directed toward? The best use of this transit is to know what you want and then sort of arrange it in your inner world. And then it will flow effortlessly into your outer world. So this is about maybe engaging in spiritual activities. This may be about meditating. Whatever you need to do to get your inner world in alignment with your heart's truest desires, with your truest passions, with what you really want. By getting in alignment with that on the inside, this is how you're going to manifest it on the outside. This is about having the courage to dream and dream big. This is about having the courage to follow your inner promptings and follow your intuition. This is having the willpower to go after whatever it is that you want. As long as you're willing to create it in your inner world first, it has no choice but to manifest, all right? And I love this energy because it provides some sort of direction to this sort of amorphous energy, right? Spiritual energy can be out there, right? It feels like you almost can't contain it. However, I love the fact that with Mars in the mix, we are taking that spiritual energy and we are directing it with a laser-like focus on exactly what it is that we want. All right. This may not be the time for overt action. Like, I want to stress that completely because Mars and Neptune are in water signs. This is about being receptive. This is about creating the environment that attracts what you want, not necessarily going out and chasing it or going out and trying to capture it or conquer it or feeling like you have to really be in your ego about this. This is about creating the environment and then watching whatever it is come to you. And in a sort of fast kind of way, because Mars energy moves quickly. So this isn't about setting some pie in the sky manifestation and waiting for it over a couple of months. This is like, this is what I want right now, aligning with it, and then boom, attracting it like a magnet. All right. So that's the best use of this energy. So if you need to, I would highly suggest tonight or even into tomorrow, but I would suggest tonight or whenever, hopefully you're watching this either live or shortly after I go live. But take some time to really hone in on what it is that you want. What is your truest passion? And then meditate, pray, script, whatever you need to do to get your inner world in alignment with that desire, do it. Be conscious and intentional about it and watch it come to you easily and effortlessly. Okay? And what's even better, it's like the icing on the cake, is that the moon is in Aries tonight. Mars is the ruler of Aries. So this is really about feeling what you want. When the moon is in Aries, we're selfish. When the moon is in Aries, we want what we want. We want it now. And all we see is what we want. We're focused on our own needs, on our own desires, on the things that we really want to transpire in our lives. And so the moon is kind of backing you up with this. The moon is like, yo, whatever feels good right now, whatever you truly want, go after it. But understand that it's an inside job. It is not for you to go out and call this person or do this thing or get this thing or be on hustle mode. No, it's about doing the inner work to get it. All right. So with that being said, you know exactly what you need to be doing right now. All right, so let's keep it moving. All right, and then tomorrow we've got Jupiter changing signs. All right, we've got Jupiter entering Taurus. You'll see that at the upper right-hand portion of the chart, Jupiter will be at 0 degrees Taurus. All right, this is a pretty big deal because Jupiter is an interpersonal planet, meaning that it still affects us because it's still kind of close to Earth, especially because it's so large, but it's still far away enough that its transit is still rather slow. So like I said, Jupiter spends about 6 months in each sign. And so Jupiter has been in Aries for quite some time. It also went retrograde in Aries at the end of last year, I believe. And so when Jupiter was in Aries, it was really about fortune favoring the bold. Aries is a cardinal sign. It's all about starting things in a bold and dynamic way. And Jupiter was like, listen, if you will take that leap of faith and do this thing, take this action, then boom, I'm going to bless you, right? Now, Jupiter is moving into Taurus and things are going to slow down a little bit, but not slow down in the sense that you're not going to see any abundance or abundance is going to come slowly. It's that abundance is going to take a more material form. So Jupiter in Aries is about starting things. Jupiter in Taurus is when we start to see some of the results of the things that we started. It's when things start to materialize and stabilize. So let's say Jupiter in Aries was in your second house, right? So that would make you a Pisces rising. So when Jupiter was in Aries, Jupiter was like, listen, if money is your thing, if you want more money, because the second house is money, then I need you to take a leap of faith. I need you to take a risk. I need you to go out on a limb with something. And in doing so, that's where you're going to find your abundance, right? So now Jupiter's in Taurus and Jupiter in Taurus is going to be in your third house. So now you're going to see more activity based on those risks that you took when Jupiter was in Aries. You're going to start to see things materialize, and it may materialize in the way that you are getting money-making ideas, or people are transacting business with you more, or you're communicating with people who are giving you tips and advice on how to make more money. See, it's kind of materializing, and that energy is stabilizing, okay? This is also about being a little practical, right? Jupiter in Aries was really about kind of doing the most, being risky. It was really about, sorry if you can hear my dog. She's wilding out right now. It was really about sort of the idea and taking the first step towards the idea. Now with Jupiter in Taurus, it's really going to be about being a little more practical and grounded with respect to that idea. Taurus is no stranger to hard work. Taurus is all about building foundations. So with Jupiter in Aries, it was like, if you'll take the risk, I'll bless you. Jupiter in Taurus is like, if you will put in the work, I will bless you. Okay, so this is a time to do. This is a time to physically do the work. This is the time to say, listen, this is what I wanted, and this is the work I'm putting in to get it. Unlike Jupiter in Aries, that was all about taking risk, this is about being practical. This is about doing what needs to be done, perhaps on a daily basis, or at least in some sort of routine way, in order to find your material abundance. Okay. Now, one of the things, or one of the underlying themes of Jupiter in Taurus is value. The value that we put on things, the value that we put on ourselves. It's almost like whatever you give meaning, whatever meaning you give to something is going to be expanded. If you think something has a large value, Jupiter is going to make it even larger. If you put a lot of meaning behind something, it means that Jupiter in Taurus is going to inflate that value. So the best use of this energy of Jupiter in Taurus is putting a high value on yourself. In doing so, Jupiter in Taurus is going to expand your self-worth. It's going to expand how valuable you view yourself, and perhaps even how valuable people view you. It doesn't matter where Jupiter is in your chart. The underlying energy of Jupiter in Taurus is value, self-value at that, and self-worth. So this may be a time where you need to work on your self-concept. This may be a time where you really need to up the ante in terms of maybe what you charge for your services, or maybe how you spend your time, maybe how you dole out your energy. You need to put a high price tag on these things and do not waver with them. Jupiter is all about expansion. So if you think you're worth a penny, Jupiter is going to expand that, but probably not by that much. However, if you're like, listen, my time is worth X, Y, and Z, Jupiter's going to be like, I bet. Let's 10x that. Right? So rather 10x really good self-worth and really good self-value instead of devaluing yourself. Because if you devalue yourself, Jupiter's going to expand that as well. It's only going to get worse. All right? So this is going to be a time where we are practical about our material abundance and where Jupiter rewards hard work. So this may be a time for us to get to work, to put our nose to the grindstone and do what needs to be done so we can get our coins, we can get our ducats, we can get what we are truly worth. All right, let's keep it moving. All right. So then on Wednesday, Jupiter is immediately going to make an aspect to Pluto. Okay. And then we've got the moon moving into Taurus. So you will see Pluto at 0 degrees Aquarius, and Pluto is currently retrograde. Okay. And then you will see Jupiter and the moon at 0 degrees Taurus. All right. Let's get into it. Pluto intensifies things. Pluto is all about the underbelly of things. It's all about intensity, power, control, and the underworld, okay? And because Pluto is retrograde, we are being called to really look within us, like really. Pluto is also about getting to the truth of the matter. And so with Pluto being retrograde, we are really combing the recesses of our psyches. We are combing our subconsciouses, and we are seeing what needs to be eradicated on a very deep and profound level. Now, Pluto is currently in Taurus, okay? And the moon is going to be in Taurus too. So loads of Taurus energy, which is going to be square to that Pluto in Aquarius. This transit is all about your self-worth. Now, the thing with this is that those things about yourself that you don't like, your insecurities, your fears, your shortcomings, whatever you think is wrong with you is going to probably be intensified. Now, because this is a square, this may present itself in a way that there's some sort of external circumstance, external situation that brings up your insecurities, that may bring up how you feel about yourself, that may bring up your self-worth and the value that you assign to yourself. And so it may feel jarring. It may feel triggering. Let me not say may. It will probably feel triggering. It'll probably feel intense, right? And on the one hand, there's going to be this drive to want to succeed, this drive to want to move to the future. Because after all, Pluto is at 0 degrees Aquarius. Aquarius is very forward looking. However, remember I said before, with these Pluto transits that are going on this week, it's all about self-empowerment. I don't care what happens. I don't care who says what to you. I don't care what the situation presents as. It's ultimately a situation that will empower you. This is a situation that will allow you to succeed in the long run. Okay? This may be a time where, how can I put this? This may be a time where you are really battling who you used to be. It may be a time where the old you and the new you are in like a battle royale. And it's time to see who's going to win. Are you going to continue to go down the path that you've been going on? Or are you going to set fire to that path and move on to a new path that represents everything that you truly want? And a lot of this has to stem from your personal power or lack thereof, or the control you have over your life or the lack thereof, or your self-esteem or the lack thereof. If you will use whatever situation comes up as either confirmation that you're on the right track, or as an indication that you need to set fire to whatever old story you've been telling yourself. Either way, whichever you choose, you will be personally empowered. And that is the whole point of this transit. And the fact that it's a Jupiter transit, meaning that it's Jupiter square Pluto, really means that if you will set fire to what you no longer need and rise from the ashes of that fire like the phoenix you know that you are, that is where your abundance lies. If you're willing to undergo that battle, then you will have changed your life forever. And I'm not even saying that to sound cute. I'm not even saying that because it sounds dramatic. I'm saying that because it's true. We are at a precipice in time right now. Humanity is at a precipice in time right now where it's almost this energy of now or never. And it's not to say that you're going to be like the earth is going to spontaneously combust. But the earth that we knew is kind of spontaneously combusting. The people that we identified as, it's time to let that go. It's time for new timelines. It's time for new narratives. It's time for new manifestations. It's time for a new fucking life. Are you courageous enough to embrace it? Are you courageous enough to do the work to get it? Are you courageous enough to burn the fuck out of what you no longer need? If you are, then welcome. There's a whole new world that awaits you. Whole new timelines where the things that you were dealing with in the past aren't even a memory. It's that they don't exist. They don't exist in this new reality. So the choice is yours. The astrology supports it. Do the work and reap the rewards. That's all I have to say about that. All right, let's keep it moving. All right. So on Thursday, we've got the sun sextile Neptune. The sun is at the 27th degree of Taurus and Neptune is at the 27th degree of Pisces. All right. So let's talk about it. All right. This is about heightening your sensitivity. Anytime we have Sun and Neptune in any kind of combination, whether it's a conjunction, whether it's an opposition, sextile, trine, square, it's about some sort of awareness of your creativity, of your inner world, of your psychic abilities, of your telepathic abilities. This is when you recognize on a conscious level your intuition, where you recognize on a conscious level what your dreams are. And depending on what Neptune is doing, whether Neptune is retrograde or not, this may be being cognizant of your dream and your bigger picture, of being clear or of being clear on what is going on in your reality right now. Now, currently Neptune is direct. So this allows you to really tap into your dreams, really tap into your fantasies, really tap into your subconscious. This is the time when you're going to want to dream of the future, think of a master plan, think about and visualize, most importantly, visualize what you want your future to look like. Now, I want to say last week, I sort of had this epiphany about visualization because I find personally that when I am trying to visualize the future, especially when I'm trying to do manifestation work, sometimes it's hard, right? Because I feel like I need to have a certain visualization in my head. It has to look a certain way. And that's not it. Visualization, it can be seeing it in your third eye. It can be seeing it by feeling it real. It's not about necessarily getting the picture in your head and then feeling into that picture. It's about evoking the feeling, the emotion of whatever it is that you're trying to manifest, which will lead to the visualization in your third eye. I'm going to repeat that again so that you get it. I think sometimes when it comes to visualization, we're like, we have to think about what this looks like in our ego, in our mind, in order to get the feeling of it, when it's actually the reverse. Evoking the feeling of what it is will bring about a picture, a visualization in your third eye. And so one of the things that I love to do, and that I realize I've always been doing over the years, but I never thought of it as manifestation work or visualization, I listen to music that evokes whatever it is that I want to visualize. If I want to visualize money, I have a Rick Ross playlist for that. And I just put that on, and before you know it, I look like I'm sitting on a yacht in Miami with a gold chain and a cigar, and I'm just counting money, right? That's the visualization that I personally get when I listen to Rick Ross, right? But whatever gets you in the feeling of whatever it is that you want to have, do, or be, do that. Whether it is literally visualizing it and then feeling it, or whether it's listening to music that evokes it, or scripting, or any sort of thing that puts you in that state, that is what's going to allow the picture of that to come to your third eye. And this is everything that this particular transit is. Again, this is Sun sextile Neptune. So this week, we are getting our self-worth in check. We are putting in the work in order to get our material abundance on deck. And we have the opportunity to visualize our future. And what I love about this is that Neptune is in Pisces, so it's in its home sign. So this is about feeling it real, visualizing it, all of that. But because the sun is still in Taurus, this is going to give you a sort of practical way of putting in the work. I feel like in doing so, you're going to be guided to the practical steps you need to take, the practical things you need to do in the 3D in order to bring this manifestation to fruition. So in visualizing, you're also going to want to pay attention to your intuition. You're going to want to pay attention to your dreams, because some of you, that is how this information is going to come through. Right? You're going to want to pay attention to the nudges, the signs, the synchronicities that you get, because these are going to let you know what needs to be done in the 3D in order to make this happen. So Thursday is a beautiful day to visualize. It's a beautiful day to engage in any sort of manifestation work. All right. So again, I say this so that you know how to use the energy and you don't let the energy either pass you by or use you. All right. So Thursday, great day for manifestation. All right. Let's keep it moving. All right. So Friday is going to be the gold star day of the week because we've got the new moon in Taurus. So if you will recall, well, I'll get into that after I get into this whole chart thing. All right. So you will see the sun and the moon will be conjunct at 28 degrees Taurus. And you'll see that at the upper left-hand part of the chart. We're also going to have Mercury sextile to, what is it? Saturn. Mercury is going to be sextile to Saturn. Okay. And we see Saturn at 6 degrees Pisces. And towards the upper level part of the chart, you will see Mercury at 6. I forgot to circle it. Mercury will be at 6 degrees Taurus. Okay. Mercury will be direct at that point. We also have the moon moving into Gemini that same day. All right. So in the beginning of the day, in the morning, at least here in the northern hemisphere and on the East Coast, we'll have that new moon in Taurus. And then later on in the day, the moon will move into Gemini. All right, so let's get into it. So if you will recall, the last 2 new moons have been in Aries. So the first new moon in Aries was in March. And then the second new moon solar eclipse was at the beginning of April. Okay. So we had like a full month, basically almost 2 months, where our focus was creating new and dynamic things because the new moon was in Aries. Now that the new moon is going to Taurus, this is about sustaining those things. It's about not necessarily starting new things, but maybe beginning a new chapter of something that is already existing, or sustaining what you've already had, or seeing some of the material results of the things that you started when the new moon was in Aries, having that come to fruition with the new moon in Taurus. So the new moon in Taurus is going down at 11:53 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's going down at 28 degrees Taurus. So the numerology for this new moon is the number 1. Which is all about new beginnings. It's all about motivation. It's about momentum. It's about understanding what needs to be done to get the end result that we want, and in a very practical and down to earth sort of way. The thing with Taurus is that it's really about building the foundation, understanding what's necessary at the start to support whatever it is that we're trying to manifest. And so this is what we're working on with this particular new moon. And again, because the numerology of this new moon is the number 1, it's all about starting. It's all about beginnings. Okay. And it's all about putting in the work. So when it comes to this new moon, you're going to want to look at where Taurus is in your chart. Depending on where Taurus is in your chart, this is what you can start at this new moon. Now, if you're not new to the channel, you've probably already heard me say that it's not every new moon that you're manifesting like everything, right? There are some new moons where we're talking about money. There's some new moons we're talking about relationships. There's some new moons we're talking about family, and we're talking about emotions, right? This particular new moon in Taurus has an undercurrent of money to it. It has an undercurrent of value, of self-worth, of assets, okay? So there is a financial undertone to this particular new moon, okay? Now, it's going to be sextile to Pluto. So this is about profound transformation. Now, sextiles are all about opportunity. It's not about things just flowing effortlessly. It's about putting in a little bit of effort in order to reap the rewards of the particular transit. And so this is about profound transformation when it comes to your self-esteem, when it comes to your self-worth, when it comes to what value you put to things. And the thing is, Pluto always wants to know why. What is the underlying motivation to whatever it is that we're talking about? So it's not just, let's say you own a business, right? And you have a particular service or you have a particular product and you're trying to figure out a price point. and you just pick an arbitrary number, Pluto would want to know why. Why did you pick this product to be $100? Is it because that's how much it costs to make it? Is it because that's what you perceive the value to be? Is that because that's what everyone else is charging? Pluto wants to know why. So when you value yourself, when you value your self-esteem, it's not enough to just say, well, I'm a queen, I'm an empress. Well, Pluto wants to know why. Why do you say that? Why do you feel that way? What is your motivation behind valuing yourself as royalty, right? So this is going to be a time of personal, profound transformation, particularly with respect to how we value ourselves, okay? The new moon is also going to be sextile to Neptune. Now, I just went on this whole diatribe of Sun sextile Neptune, where it's all about manifesting, visualizing, right? With the new moon sextile to Neptune, same thing. It's time to tell yourself a new story and flood your subconscious with it. This is the time you want to listen to subliminals. This is the time you want to script. This is the time you want to do mirror work. Literally, this is a week where you flood your subconscious with your new story. I don't care how you do it. I don't care if you have someone calling you every day, telling you congratulations on your new baby that's coming, or on the millions that you just won in the lotto. Flood your subconscious with whatever story you want to tell it. That's what's going to manifest. That is what this new moon is about. This new moon is also going to be sextile to Mars. So this is about new goals and being kind of ballsy about these new goals, right? It's also about being a little selfish. It's like, listen, this is what I want. This is what I'm going to get. This is what I'm willing to work toward. You know why? Because I'm worth it. Because I deserve it. Because I'm worthy and deserving of having the things that I want. These goals that I'm setting, these goals that I'm flooding my subconscious with, I'm worthy of that shit. And I'm going to have it. And yes, you're going to talk to yourself in this very aggressive kind of manner because that's how Mars rolls. That's how Mars wants you to be. Mars wants you to be confident. Mars wants you to be cocky. Mars wants you to know that you are that bitch, that you are that person, that you are that boss, and that you deserve it. So this new moon, it's going to be a little spicy. It's going to be a little intense. But if you use that energy to your advantage, it's your new story that's going to manifest. You are going to manifest a whole new life. And I don't say that just to say it. Because we're talking about Pluto, this is profound transformation if you're willing to put in that work. If you are, this new moon is going to be perfection. All right. Then we've also got Mercury sextile Saturn. This energy has been around for a little bit because this was the transit that Mercury made like last week. Because Mercury was retrograde and it's going back direct, it's going to be hitting all the planets that it hit on its way to retrograde. So Mercury sextile Saturn, we've been experiencing this for like 2 weeks. It's clear thinking, good judgment, organization skills. This is a great time to catch up on paperwork, to study, to research things. This is the time to make long-term plans because you're going to be able to see that shit clearly. Mercury is in Taurus. So this is about seeing the practical side of these things, having practical ideas when it comes to the long-term plans. Saturn is currently in Pisces. This is about your long-term plans coming to fruition. So it would behoove you, right? And I feel like if you are watching this, you are not someone who is new to this. I don't feel like I'm talking to anyone who's new. But if you are, this is the week to get clear on exactly what you want. It's the week to do whatever manifestation techniques are comfortable to you. Whatever is going to flood your subconscious with your new story, that's what you need to do. But you have to be clear on it. You have to be clear on your desires, clear on your goals, clear on your ambitions, and clear on what you want. And then allow yourself to think of a master plan for the long term. It's not about, oh, I want money for today, or I just want money to pay this bill. No, this is about setting a financial goal for the future. This isn't about I'm planning a family. It is about planning a family, the long term. What you want your husband or wife to look like, what you want your kids, what you want your house. This is about planning for the long term and doing the manifestation work and watching it come to fruition. Okay. This is also a great time and a great transit. Again, this is Mercury sextile Saturn for mentors and mentees. This is a great time to reach out and touch somebody and get some assistance, especially professional assistance if you need it, right? I'm talking about maybe therapists or anything like that, or anyone like that. I also feel like it's a great time to reach out to people who are sort of in the trenches with you, people who are on this journey, people who are on the same wavelength, people who have the things that you're trying to achieve, people who can give you great advice. If you're trying to manifest a boatload of money and you want to get your finances in order, this is a great time to talk to maybe a financial advisor, or talk to someone who maybe has what you want, who is knowledgeable in finances, who can help you put a plan together. Like, this is the time to do that. All right. And it's definitely the transit to do that. And then that same day, which is Friday, the moon is going to be moving into Gemini. So this is going to be the desire to learn, to think, to plan, right? This is a great time to journal. It's a great time to memorialize things. This may be a time, especially since Mercury is now is no longer retrograde. This is a time to sign on the dotted line. This is the time to sign contracts, negotiate, make deals, all that kind of stuff. All right. So I feel like Friday is a day to really get moving. It's a day to communicate. It's a day to talk to people. It's a day to seek advice. It's a day to communicate with people who are on the same wavelength as you. And that new moon in Taurus is going to have you feeling a breath of fresh air when it comes to the things that you want to achieve. All right. Let's keep it moving. All right, so on Saturday, we have Mars moving into Leo. So Mars has been in Cancer for the last month and change. It'll finally make the move into Leo, and you will see that at the left-hand side of the chart, 0 degrees Leo. And then Mars is also going to oppose Pluto, and Pluto will be all the way on the other side of the chart at 0 degrees Aries. All right, so first, let's talk about Mars in Leo. But to talk about Mars in Leo, we have to talk about Mars in Cancer. Mars in Cancer was quite uncomfortable. Mars is a very direct sort of planet. It's a planet of heat. It's a planet of energy. It's a planet of direct action. And in Cancer, which is a water sign, it's like Cancer kind of put a wet blanket on Mars's ambitions. Not to say that Cancer completely snuffed out Mars's energy, but it kind of slowed down Mars in a sense, because rather than moving from a place of ego, Mars in Cancer was really about figuring out what it is that you want and then moving from a place of intuition and a place of emotion. And Mars doesn't like that. But thankfully, Mars is moving into Leo, which is a fire sign. So Mars is going to be re-energized. Mars is going to be reinvigorated. All right. So I want you to look to see what house is Leo in your natal chart. This is the house, and therefore the area of life for you that's going to be reinvigorated, that's going to heat up while Mars is in Leo, which should last for the next month or so. Okay. When Mars is in Leo, it's proud, it's self-confident, and grand. Everything about Leo is about confidence, okay? And so Mars in Leo is like having the courage to be confident about the things that you want, being willing to stand apart from the crowd, being willing to stand in your glory and say, this is what I want, this is what I'm working toward. I don't care what anyone else has to say about it. Whereas when Mars was in Cancer, whatever goals you had, you kind of went about it in a very indirect sort of way. It's almost like you had to be attuned to it emotionally in order to align with it physically. Thankfully, because Mars is going into Leo and Leo is a masculine sign, this is about going after our goals head first in a direct way, but it's not just being reckless and direct. That's more of Mars in Aries. Mars in Aries is like, I'm going after this. I don't care how I do it by any means necessary. It's whatever. Mars in Leo is like, I'm going after this, but I am self-assured and confident that I will get it. Okay. And it's about desiring dramatic results. I feel like when Mars is in Leo, we want the big shit. we're not trying to play small. We want a grand affair. We want to be recognized. We want the award. We want everything. We want people to see us having what it is that we want. Okay. This is like not being concerned about details, not being concerned about emotions, but whatever is the most direct way from point A to point B, that's how Mars in Leo operates. Okay. There's also going to be this undercurrent of sex. So many of us are going to have a high sex drive. And even if you're not having sex actively, I feel like you can channel and transmute that sexual energy into something creative. So when Mars is in Leo over the next month, this is a time for creation. No, it's almost like being self-assured that whatever you create is going to be amazing. Okay. So it's definitely a time of creation. It's definitely a time of being confident in whatever it is that you want. Okay. And then that same day, Mars is going to oppose Pluto. And this is about personal power. This is about being empowered. It's also about having it intensifies whatever it is that you want. Whatever it is that you're desiring, you're going to feel it on a very intense level. Not only that, this could definitely bring out your competitive nature. So this is about going to great lengths to achieve what it is that you want, okay? And having a competitive spirit. But the thing is, I want you to keep in mind that Pluto was retrograde. So maybe you want something, but maybe you feel like you have an opponent, or maybe you feel like you're in competition with someone who wants the same thing. That person, that external circumstance is not your opponent. Your opponent is you. The battle that you are waging is with yourself. And it's probably with your old story, or it's probably with the old you. Okay? This battle will likely be internal. So if you are putting the blame on somebody else, if you are saying, oh, I'm in competition with this person, it's this person that I have to beat out, I have to compare myself to this person, then you're attacking this transit all wrong. This is about, listen, this person represents a part of me, and maybe a part of me that I don't like, or maybe it's a part of me that represents my old story. So I am battling myself. Rather than thinking the way I usually think, rather than operating the way I usually operate, I choose a new story. I choose a new narrative. And that is how you are going to be victorious. This is all an inside job. This is not about so-and-so's doing this, I got to catch up to this person, or I need to undercut this person so they don't get what I want. You're not going to win that way. When you fix yourself on the inside and get right and aligned with your new story and already having what it is that you want, that's how you are victorious. All right. This is about also tapping into your primal energies. Mars is very primal. It's very warlike. It's your raw desires. And so this is a time to be very clear about what it is that you really want. Understanding what you really want and why you want it is going to be half the battle here. It's really time for you to get crystal clear on your motivations, crystal clear on your end goal. Okay? This is also going to be a situation that's going to empower you. And I think I touched on this before. And again, because Pluto is retrograde, this is an internal thing. Whatever happens with this particular transit, it's all meant to empower you. If you find yourself being discouraged, if you find yourself feeling weak, if you find yourself feeling like, oh, I can't do this, I can't have this, you're missing the point. The point is to find the power within you. And sometimes that means telling ourselves a completely different story of ourselves. For many of us, I feel like this transit is really helping us get rid of the things in our lives that have been holding us back. Whether it's abandonment issues, whether it's feeling like you're not good enough, whether it's dealing with trauma that we keep dragging into every new situation. It's time to empower yourself. And again, if you're looking at other people saying, well, this person's doing this to me, or this situation is happening, which is why I can't progress, then you're missing the whole point of this. Then you're missing the entire point of this. This is all about finding your willpower and being courageous enough to stand firm in it, whatever it is, no matter what anybody says, no matter what your 3D reality looks like. Standing in your truth, standing in your authenticity, and moving from that place. That is what this transit is about. Okay. So powerful, powerful energy if you will use it to your advantage. All right, let's keep it moving. All right, so then we close out the week on Sunday with the sun moving into Gemini, which officially marks Gemini season, and you will see the sun at the bottom right-hand portion of the chart at 0 degrees Gemini. We also have the sun being sextile to Pluto. So while the sun is at 0 degrees Gemini, Pluto is going to be at 0 degrees Aquarius. All right, so it's going to be a favorable aspect between the sun and Pluto. And then we have the moon moving into its home sign of Cancer, and you'll see that at 0 degrees Cancer. Now, I want you to notice this, right? We've got Pluto at 0 degrees, the sun at 0 degrees, the moon, at least at that point in the day, at 0 degrees. We also have Mars at 0 degrees. This is a time of new beginnings. We are starting a new cycle. With the new moon in Taurus, we got 3 planets changing signs this week. I want you to understand, overstand, understand. This is a week of newness. And you know what does not belong with newness? Old shit. Old things do not belong this week. It's almost as if the universe is like, listen, I'm giving you a do-over. I'm giving you a time to wipe the slate clean and start fresh. And you're like, but wait a minute. Like, I want to bring this suitcase that has all of my heartbreaks since 9th grade. I can't come with this. And the universe is like, no. Like, can you please put that down? Like, yes, I'm not trying to invalidate the fact that you experienced this thing back in the day. But the universe is like, there is no room for this where you are going, where we are going. We are at one of the most transformational and one of the most beautiful points in our existence as humans. And I don't mean that lightly. You decided to incarnate right now because your soul wanted to experience a rebirth. Yes, your soul wanted to experience a rebirth. And the universe is doing everything in its power to get you to do that. But you're like, no, let me not say that. Some of us, many of us, are generational curse breakers. And it is us that are pulling the brakes on this train that has been going for so long. Our great-grandparents, our grandparents, our parents have been operating on this same paradigm. And we incarnated right now to say, no, this shit stops here. And it's not easy by any means necessary. You're not only healing yourself and your own shit. You're healing your bloodline shit that's been going on for eons, right? This is why we incarnated. I feel like if you're watching this video, you understand exactly what I mean because you're going through this. And we're like, nah, it stops here. And the universe is like, bet. All right, cool. So you're breaking this curse. All right. I'm giving you all of the astrological transits to actually do that. I'm giving you the chance for a complete makeover in your life. And in doing that, it's going to make over the life of it's going to make over your bloodline. And you're like, okay, great. You're like, but I can't let go of some of this shit. And I'm not saying that it's going to be easy. Like I said, it's not easy at all. But where you are headed, where this earth is headed, the trajectory of where we are going, there is literally no room for this shit. It's almost like, back in the day when you would travel by plane and you could have the heaviest ass suitcase, 4 bags with you, like all this shit, and you could do it for free, right? You could really travel with all of this baggage for free. What has happened now? In the reality, I want you to see the connection between this analogy and what is going on right now. Now, JetBlue has the audacity to even like charge you for a carry-on. So basically, they want you to travel light. You should be traveling with a book bag right now. The universe is like, yes, we're moving forward. Everything is speeding up. We are going on new timelines. I need you to travel light. I need you to travel with a book bag. I need you to travel with this new story that's developing, this new narrative that's developing. That's what I want you to travel with. And some of us, we keep showing up with 5 suitcases like, yo, I'm ready. And the universe is like, where are you going with all this shit? You really think you're going to get on here with all of this baggage, all of this stuff? They're like, this analogy is hitting me really hard right now. I'm channeling this. It's not coming from me. There are times when I travel, or I used to do this. I would have like 4 outfits per day. And then at the end of the trip, I would realize that I didn't wear half of what I packed, meaning that half of what I packed was unnecessary. So many of us are traveling with unnecessary shit. We think it's necessary. We think that we're going to need 8 million outfits, 6 million shoes for a 3-day trip. And Spirit is like, no, I need you to travel light right now. I need you. You're going to create more things on the way. It's okay if you don't have a lot right now, because whatever you don't have, you're going to create it. Don't bring old shit thinking that you're going to need it. Because guess what? If you try to bring that shit, we're going to charge you a pretty penny for it. And it's going to weigh you down. So my friends, travel light. Let go of what you don't need. I understand that dude broke your heart in 9th grade and it like put you on a trajectory of foolishness and fuckery in relationships. I get it. I've lived that reality. But I said, you know what? No fucking more. I don't need it. I don't need to pack this shit on my ride. I don't need to pack this in my suitcase. I don't need to hold on to this shit anymore. Let it go. Let it go. Please let it go. Because where you're going, you're going to create shit that is so much better. You're going to have a reality that's so much better. You're going to have a life that's so much richer. It's going to be in alignment with everything that you want. And guess what? It's not going to take a long time to get it either. This isn't something that's going to take years and years and years to unfold. Things are moving quickly, but you can't move quickly with it if you've got 8 million bags with you. If you've got a whole bunch of emotional baggage, you're not going to be able to really enjoy this time that you incarnated into to enjoy. Eons ago, your soul said, listen, I'm coming to earth at this time because this shit is going to be lit. It's going to be so lit. And you waited online for this shit. You waited online to get here at this time, and you are here. But you forgot why you incarnated here in the first place. You incarnated here to enjoy this shit. So enjoy it. Enjoy it. Be brave enough to want what you want. Be brave and delusional enough to know that you will have it. Trust and believe. Mars in Leo is going to make you feel real confident about the shit that you want. Do that and watch your life literally change. All right. Ooh. I don't know where that came from, but that was a lot. All right. So Sun in Gemini. Gemini season is going to be starting on Sunday. Look at where Gemini is in your chart. This is where things are probably going to get really busy. Lots of communication, lots of socializing. This is when we get into our brains. This is when we start communicating with people. I love Gemini energy. It's very early summer energy. It's that excitement of summer, right? And getting out there, like really communicating with people, having fun, socializing, all that good stuff. It's about experiencing a lot of things, learning a lot of things. Gemini allows you to tap into your curiosity. So use the energy of Gemini over the next month to do that, right? You guys know how Gemini season feels. It's kind of You know Gemini energy. I don't think I need to really go into it like that. All right. Sun trine Pluto. I really just talked about that. That whole channeling I just gave, that was really Sun trine Pluto. This is being cognizant of what you need to change, of what you need to have a transformation. This is about clearing the clutter in your environment. What was I just telling you about traveling light? This is Sun trine Pluto. Travel light. Get rid of the shit you don't need. You don't need 4 outfits for one day. Like, you really just need to travel light right now. Okay? So do that. And then see how your life is going to change. It's also about becoming conscious of the underlying motivations and intentions for things. It's getting to the truth of the matter. And guess what? The truth is whatever you say it is. I'm going to say that again. The truth is whatever you say it is. Truth is relative. Truth is relative to all of us. My truth may not be your truth, but because my truth and your truth are different, it doesn't invalidate either of them. So get true and clear on what it is that you want and why you want it, and move in that direction. And then we have the moon moving into Cancer. So this is going to be feeling sensitive. You know that Cancer energy. It's feelings, and it's a very great attention to our basic emotional needs. Okay. So this is really about feeling things, paying attention to your emotions, understanding how your emotions play into your intentions. Your emotions will let you know where you're spending a lot of your attention and your energy. And whenever the moon is in Cancer, I feel like we are more sensitive because we need to understand where our emotions are. Okay. So that's how we close out the week. All right. In this moment, I'm not guided to pull cards this week. I feel like it doesn't matter what I have to say with these cards. This is a week where you create your own stories. This is the week where you create your own narrative. Don't look to anyone for outside validation. Whatever it is that you want, whatever it is that you need, you have it within yourself. And with that, I end this particular weekly astro forecast. I sincerely hope that you were able to get at least one important piece of information that you can use going into this new week. I wish you nothing but the best for this upcoming week, for this upcoming new moon, and for this upcoming life, because like I said, we are at a pivotal point in our humanity where things are really changing. And I wish you nothing but courage, willpower, and determination to change in the way that you absolutely want. All right, my loves, have an amazing week, and I will see you next time. Take care.